Wake up and be amazing and grab your daily Danish. Good morning. I am Dane Boyle, otherwise known as Coach Boyle. And so I wanted to take a minute and I wanted to talk to you about my hopes, my dreams, my passions. Good morning, Annie. So why would I want to come in here live? So I've been blessed to, good morning, Steph, to be in front of groups of people. And good morning, T. And they're, because I wear my hat backwards and I often forget that it's branded with Dane Boyle Fitness, which is now Dane Boyle Success, they'll ask about what I'm doing. Good morning. And I was like, okay, so here's who I am. And I start out and I'm like, I have a master's in exercise science. I'm a life coach. And I truly believe that if dumbbells and treadmills were the answer, we'd all be healthy and well. So they're not the answer. And then depending on how long the conversation goes, I get to delve back into where it all began. So in the early 90s, I had the pleasure of being offered a position by my father, who was a physician. And Dad didn't become a doctor till he was 35 years old. And I truly believe because of that, he had lived a little bit. And he understood the plight of the common man. Dad was white collar. He was a pharmaceutical rep. He was a military officer. But what he taught me as I watched, right? And if you don't think you're being watched, you're wrong. People are definitely watching you no matter what you do, whether you're a mom, a dad, your coworkers, people are watching you. So as I watched him sit in the lobby sometimes and just have a conversation with somebody and make eye contact with somebody and give them the knowledge that they were important to him. They were important to him. So then at times we'd walk down the hallway or Dad would buy lunch or we might be in his backyard. He would talk about his vision. At that time, his vision was actually to have private personal gyms for people who are afraid to go to the gym. So that you could talk to your coach, you could talk to your personal trainer. Now, he never could figure out how to make that as part of his business. But also in the journey of wanting to make and prevent chronic disease. So that's what Dad talked about all the time was chronic disease. And he would tell me how much could be done with proper diet and exercise to prevent disease so he wouldn't have to write as many scripts. Now, Dad could talk it, but he didn't know how to live it himself. So my dad was overweight. I know he wasn't always overweight because I saw pictures of him in his early days out of Air Force ROTC. But by the time I worked for him in the 90s, he was probably 80 to 100 pounds overweight. And food was his drug of choice. And he knew he needed to do something, but he didn't know how to do it. But he consistently talked about bringing it to the people. And he talked about it's about chronic disease. And then recently, so 20-something years later, I lost my dad 3 years ago, and he lost the fight for his life. And the ailments that he battled in the last 5 years were because of his lifestyle choices. But I was recently reading that 85% of people 65 and over have at least one chronic disease, whether it's IBS, asthma, hypertension, high cholesterol. They have them, and it doesn't have to be that way. Now, you may not be 65 today, and that's fine. And even if you are, there's ways to work through it. So I use the reference of dumbbells and treadmills because there are millions of them, and most of them go unused. But even with that, what's going to keep you moving more and more? So Dad and I would have conversations about all different elements of health and wellness. And the physical part is important, but it's just one. So there are actually 7 elements of health and wellness. And I taught science in middle school and high school for almost 10 years. So I love formulas, I love math, I love science. And we formulated our own formula to remember what those 7 elements are. And we call them E squared IOP squared. What? Think about it, E squared, IOP squared. You can write that down, you can save it so you can remember that in order to be healthy and well physically and emotionally, those are the 7 elements we need to work on. So let me tell you what E squared, IOP squared is. So it's emotional health, it's environmental health, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual health. Now, I purposefully say emotional on one end and spiritual on the opposite end because I believe it's what we do in the middle that ultimately brings us joy and happiness. Hello, Christoph. So think about it. So let me tell you again, it's important. This is how the mission of Dane Boyle Success will go on and live and thrive because We want to help you physically and emotionally, psychologically in the 7 elements of health and wellness, which are E squared, IOP squared. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, man, chime in. I grabbed my reading glasses because that's one thing I can't help is your vision. Although if you're healthier, your vision will be better. But we're going to talk about that. And if you like something, man, please tell me that that's a point that I should make again and again with hearts and likes. So E squared, excellent. Let me talk about E squared, IOP squared, and I will definitely talk about exercise. So there's emotional, environmental, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual health. And once again, I say emotional and spiritual on opposite ends because it's what we do in the middle. So one of the 7, and Annie asked, I hate to exercise. So I've been on this earth for a long time. I was blessed to have a name like Dane, so it's different. And the word Danish means lots of things. Well, we've branded, or I'm branding it in my thoughts, my belief system that I believe can help change the world and eliminate chronic disease. So rule number 7. So if you've heard or seen NCIS, Jethro Gibbs has lots of rules, and I followed that. We've numbered them. Number 7 is it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you do it. The biggest return on investment ultimately when it comes to exercise is walking. We can do it most days of the week. It doesn't matter how far you go. What matters is you get up, you get out, and you get moving more days than you don't. Typically when somebody asks me this, I ask them if they have the way to measure how many steps or how far or time that they've gone. And then I ask them to do it over a 3-day period without even changing their daily habits. And then we can average that. So if they walked 1,000 steps on average for 3 days, then we're going to do what we call the 10% rule. I'm going to challenge them as a coach to increase their movement. That would be 100 more steps for the next 7 days. Then we're going to get back together. We're going to re-average their steps, see how many more days they were successful than they weren't, and then challenge them to increase 10% more and 10% more. Yes, eventually we need to do strength training. We do lose what they call lean muscle mass as we age. So for those of you who are 30 or older, we're kind of on the downslide. We lose muscle mass at about 1% a year. We can retard that by doing strength training, resistance training, lifting weights. We also start that very slowly. A house was not built by putting the roof on the top. The house was built by building a foundation. And that's ultimately what we want to do is build that foundation. Look, if you want to flip a tire, flip a tire. If you want to do box jumps, do box jumps. I had this conversation with a champion today. And if it empowers you, then let's do it. But what I want to make sure you can do is you can start today whenever you're watching this video, and that a week from now you're still doing it, a month from now you're still doing something, a year from now, and 10 years you're still doing something. So that's when I say that it doesn't matter what you do, what matters is that you do it. We have lots of ways to deliver that message, and the beauty of the internet is we can bring you exercise right into your living room or in my office right here, or from my office right here. So again, if you don't like to exercise, I have to tell you that when you fall in love with the journey, it becomes much easier. Nobody said it was easy. I think everything that we do and teach is simple, but it's not easy. And consistency is the key to that. And that's where we want to love you where you are, embrace you where you are. We have online community, and online are actually several depending on who you are and what your needs, wants, and desires are, to plug you into, to make sure that we connect with you. The beauty of our online community is we've started adding a 30-minute phone call with our champions so that we know that we can talk to Amber or Christoph or Tanya or Annie monthly and follow up. We're going to set goals together, and sometimes we talk to people that are not really sure how to do them. So we'll talk about what we call SMART goal setting. SMART is another acronym. You can tell that I was a military dependent in active duty because I use them a lot. But over time, you'll hear them enough, you'll learn them. But SMART goal setting means that we'll talk about specific, measurable, attainable, reliable, and timely goals. And again, it sounds very confusing, very hard, but it's not. We're going to break it down. We're going to break it down. We're going to break down. We're going to peel back that onion until you understand. And that is ultimately what it's about. So that's where we are. I mean, the beauty of where we are and what we do is we can come right to you just like this. We have live conference calls where you're in your home, you're in your living room, and we talk and we talk. I think oftentimes people only know what they know, and they know the gym. And I think that the word fitness has been bastardized where people only think sweat on the floor, but I told you with E squared, IOP squared, it's so much more. I see another question, so I'm using my phone and I can't always read it, so let's see what it says. It says, here's another question from a client. I like to exercise, but I make lousy food choices. What do you suggest? So I will tell you that I don't know if the numbers are really right. I haven't actually done the research to say that when people say that your health, your physical health is 80% nutrition, I know that most of it is actually based on nutrition. So to give you an example, so my wife Tanya has had 2 Achilles tendon surgeries in the last 18 months. And she was a runner and now she's starting to run again. But in that 18 months, she wasn't able to exercise in the same form or fashion that she did before. So what we began together is we calculated her caloric intake. We calculated, she said she'd wanted to lose weight. So we based that on how many vegetables, fruits, proteins, carbohydrates, healthy fats, and seeds and dressings she should have on a daily basis. You may or may not even know what all those are, but we can teach you, or I teach you how to do it. The challenge is to be in a place where you're coachable, where you're willing to make one change at a time. Again, as a former science teacher, when I set up a science experiment, how many variables would I have had for the students to change? 1. So depending on your hypothesis, and for us this is the caloric intake, this is how many pounds you'll lose in a week or a month or a year. So we'd start with one change. So if we do the math, it takes 3,500 calories to either, in addition, we'll put on weight, 1 pound. If you have it minus, negative, you'll lose a pound. Okay, so that's a 500 calorie addition or deficit every day in 7 days. If you make one change, so I'm speaking to you from Texas, in South Central Texas, that could be a tortilla, a flour tortilla, about 100 calories depending on the size. It's an 8-ounce glass of milk. It could be that second glass of wine or that additional beer. It's one thing. We're going to challenge you to record what you do. It sounds hard. Research says the average person will actually only do it for 3 days. We want you to do it long term. We challenge you to do it because if we don't record it, we don't really know if it's working, then we're going to keep doing it. If it's not working, what can we do to allow you to get the change that you're looking for? So again, it's one change. I can't specifically tell you that you should eat more lettuce. I can't specifically tell you that you should add this. I know that listen to me, we're going to tell you how many servings of vegetables I believe you should have every day, how many proteins you should have every day, how many fruits. But nobody put on weight, nobody by eating too many fruits and vegetables. So that's where we want to go first. And it's a process. We tend to quit too soon. With everything that we offer, we do it month to month. Why? So it doesn't scare you. Why? So that I can help, or our team can help deliver such value that you know that it's worth your personal investment. Then we're going to ask you to do a personal commitment contract. That personal commitment is a contract with you. It's not legal, it's not binding, but it's to say when we begin that we're going to be here a year from now, still working on the solutions to better health, emotionally, physically, intellectually, social, etc., etc. So yeah, the holidays are right around the corner. Not only, and you can talk about the big holidays or you can talk about Halloween. When you go to your local grocery store, there's aisles and aisles and aisles of candy. Little bitty fun-sized candies. Eat a lot of fun-sized candies, it gets to be a big candy. Thanksgiving's coming up. Tends to be a very family-oriented holiday. Then you've got Christmas. That's cookies, cakes, parties, office events, including birthdays. So by coming with us, it doesn't matter. We do want you to join us. That's the God honest truth, because I believe we can do things together and we can help you. When you know you're going to an office party, when you know you're going to a Thanksgiving dinner, what are you going to do? let's just talk about Thanksgiving. First of all, it's one day. And if you have a food that makes you feel good, that your mother or grandmother made, then eat it. Now, do you have to eat it in a plate that's this big? No. But can you have a sample of it and enjoy it and remember what it was like to be a little kid? Absolutely. So holidays aren't just food. They're emotionally stressful. Your schedule tends to be off a little bit. So get sleep. Get sleep. When we talk to exercise, if you're already exercising, don't let that go. Make that appointment every day and keep that appointment. If you're not exercising, how many minutes a day or steps can we add to your day so that you can be physically ready, emotionally ready to see people that some you enjoy, some you may not enjoy, but it's about that moment with your family. How can you go to the event and if your niece Susie or nephew Johnny made cookies and they want you to try one, eat the cookie or eat half the cookie. Tell them it was delicious. Give them a hug. Give them a kiss. Tell them that you love them. So it's a balancing act. But during the process, don't forget about you. Did you know the average American puts on up to 5 to 10 pounds a year during the holidays? I mean, think about it. If we start today preparing here, cognitively, thinking, then emotionally and physically, and then putting you in a healthy community so you have a soft place to land when maybe you're a little afraid that you might overindulge or somebody just might tease you a little bit or make fun of you because after Thanksgiving you decided to go for a walk, or maybe you signed up for a turkey trot in your local town and they're going to kind of bust your chops a little bit. That's okay. Why don't we just invite them to join you? And they may or not do it, but you offered it. And you're going to go out for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, but plan it. We want to prepare, plan, and execute your success. I'm telling you, I think it sounds daunting, but it's not. Through that whole process, make sure you stay hydrated, even more so if you're going to consume alcohol. Hello, Wanda. So those are important things. So again, during the holidays, sleep, prepare even think about how are you going to enjoy your meal. Again, from the turkey to the dressing to the stuffing to the yams to the pecan pie in our world. How are you going to do it? You can still enjoy it. It's really about quantity of food. Do you need the big giant plate? Do you need to fill it up? Do you need to stack your food this high? Do you need to go back for servings, second serving? Could you eat it, sit back, maybe have a cup of coffee, maybe have some water, and have a conversation and let it settle for 20 minutes. Are you still hungry? Or maybe you had a little, go eat. So just a few of the ease, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Those are the kind of things we want to teach. To go back to who we are and where we are, the philosophy comes that what I've seen is 6-week programs, 12-week programs. What happens after 6 weeks in a day? What happens after 12 weeks in a day? Look, I believe we're going to have programs that are based on 30 days of functional health. We're going to have 30 days of concentrated nutritional education. I'm not a dietitian, but I have to eat. I do measure my food. I base my daily fuel intake on my training principles. Am I going to get enough sleep? I'm not going to get enough sleep. What am I going to do? Am I going to travel? We're going to teach you how to do that, teach you how to be successful. But as a former high school, middle school, college teacher, we're going to break it up. But again, many people find it really difficult to think, where will I be a year from now? Where will I be 5 years from now? Where will I be 10 years from now? But we want you to survive today, the very moment today. Give yourself a gold star. I talked about with a woman that does marketing things today, having a Dane Boyle success calendar. Because I tell people all the time, when you have more wins today than you did yesterday, you want to give yourself a gold star. So if we had an old school calendar, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but here are some of my notes to talk about. And you put a gold star, and at the end of the month, you look at it, and it's got some kind of meme that's motivational. Maybe it's Danish, and rule number 1 is every day is a great day, right? But if we set a goal and you conquer 7 of the 10 things, give yourself a gold star. Then Tuesday, you did 4 of the 10. Well, maybe you didn't earn a gold star that day, but you did the next day and the next day. And in a 30-day month, you'll be able to look at how many times you had success. That's it. It's the compound effect of doing things that you do. I recommend reading Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect, because it's the little bitty things that have success. It's like investing in money. Investing money. If you invest $1 today and has compound interest, how much will that dollar be worth in 50 years? Think about it. It's the same thing you do in your own body, whether you're 20, 30, 40, or 50. So I see, and he has another question from one of our champions. It says, I'm scared. How do I start? I want to make changes, but it's a stressful time of year. If it doesn't, first of all, I said that today. I was in, as of the shooting of this video, in a networking group. So we get to talk to people that are entrepreneurs and they have dreams and visions for what they want to do. And I told them where I wanted to be able to take Dane Boyle's success, how I want to eliminate disease, and how it scares me every day. And somebody said, that's a good thing. And I said, one of the things that I teach and coach, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And if your goals aren't scary, then they're not big enough. So the first step is asking for help. And sometimes that's the hardest piece. It doesn't have to be about weight loss, by the way. If it is, that's fine. If it's about maintaining your health, regaining your health, surrounding yourself with a healthy community, dreaming big, dreaming often, and dreaming out loud. And I use dreams as an analogy for where you want to see your future. Whether it's a better job, a better relationship with your husband or spouse, kids. Hey, George. That's what the dreams are. So that's why we call our piece with Dane Boyle's Success the Dream Academy. So if you're scared, take a deep breath, like, comment, or share the video, send a message, or even email me at dane@daneboyle.com. So think about it. That's the first step. And yes, so, it's interesting that the question says it's a stressful time of year. How do I start? Right? Hello, Tammy. You can let that overwhelm you because, like I said earlier in the video, is that we've got office parties, we've got family gatherings, you've got festivals in your local town, there's food, there's birthdays all the time. And why do we have to wait till Monday? Why do we have to wait till January 1st? The one thing that I can tell you is a certain is that you cannot stop time. You cannot stop time. I was looking at my Time Hop app today and there was a picture of me being in Virginia Beach, and it was a life-changing piece. I was honored and blessed to be a speaker at that event. And I thanked the group that invited me. And it's like, wow, a year went by. So then I later today, I'm going to sit and I'm going to think, what changes have happened physically, emotionally in my business in 1 year? Where do you want to be in a year? So that's a big goal. That's a long-term goal. Then let's compartmentalize them into short-term goals. But waiting until the end of football season, basketball season, your kid has a birthday, somebody has a surgery. Why? Because when I talked, it's about making one choice. And that one choice might be to add more water to your diet. It might be adding more water to your diet today. So if you're sitting there and you have a bottle of water, I'm going to take a sip. I challenge you to take a sip. It wasn't that hard, right? That's one change, a one moment in time, whatever it says on your watch or your phone now that maybe you took that you didn't take yesterday. Everything that we do is about being better today than yesterday and better tomorrow. That's it. Every single day. We tend to rationalize our choices. I'm going to sleep in today. I'm going to miss my workout. I'm going to eat something that's really, really unhealthy and great volume. I'm going to have another beer. I'm going to have another glass of wine. I'm not going to tell my spouse that I love them today. I'm not going to give my kid a hug today. And maybe you don't even think about doing it like that, right? Because you don't want to be a butthead, but you just don't do it. You have to think about it, prepare, plan it, and then do it. So another question is, someone wants to know more, the Dream Academy, how it can help me survive the holidays. So the beauty of the Dream Academy, because it's 100% online, is we have a 24/7, 365 community where we talk, we share, and we dream. We are now finishing up our book called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. So we talk about personal development, digging in. I will challenge you to read or listen to an audiobook 10 pages a day, 10 minutes a day, every day. Hello, Wendy. Think about that. So let's just do the math when it comes to reading 10 pages a day. So, over my right shoulder are a group of books. That's only a very small portion of the books that I've read or will read. 10 pages a day for 365 days is 3,650 pages. In 1 year, you will have read 18 200-page books. What if in that book it tells you and gives you a hope, a glimpse to survive the holidays, to be confident when you walk into a room, to make eye contact. If you're an introvert, it's super scary to shake hands and mingle. And then in the Dream Academy too, so we talk about healthier choices when it comes to food, physical activity, breathing. So another personal development book that I absolutely love and I highly recommend is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And these things we've put into use in the Dream Academy. So he talks about life savers, and the savers are the acronym. I told you I was full of acronyms being a military dependent and a veteran. So savers, we're going to help you start every day with a moment of silence. As little as 30 seconds if it's uncomfortable, but over time it will get better. Silence. Positive affirmations, I am statements that said you are powerful and you are in control of your day, and say them out loud. I will tell you personally, sitting in my sunroom and speaking to myself out loud, it was hard at first, but I want to say them confidently. I am in control of my day. I have the ability to make change. I, and say it and believe it. The V stands for visualize, to visualize your day, your success. See it happen. If I coach you to get into a job interview, which happens, I want you to envision with your eyes closed, what does the room look like? What are the people or person opposite you? What are they wearing? We'll practice. What are the questions they might ask you? So you see it. You'll relax. Visualize how you're going to run faster, walk faster, make a better choice in the kitchen, love better. See it happen. The most powerful tool you have in this world is your brain. See it happen. Then exercise. So I start my day with walking the puppy 20 minutes a day. 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back. I don't care how far I go. I do some of my personal development at the same time. I listen to an audiobook or a podcast. Now, for me, at this point, that's not specifically my exercise. Of course it's exercise because I'm moving more than I did yesterday. But what it does is I come back, my blood is pumping a little better. I might sweat a little bit. My level of alert, hello, Miss Castro, is huge. And I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. So the R in Savers is reading. Just read about the most successful, hey Pat, the most successful people. Read and delve into learning every single day. They also exercise, by the way. And the S, and I'll go back over it, is scribe. I always joke that because journaling didn't fit the acronym, but write down, what did you learn on your walk? What did you learn or say to yourself in your affirmations? What did you learn in your moment of silence? And that way you can go back and review your successes. So how will you survive the holidays, and how can we help you in the Dream Academy survive the holidays? By what I call lifesavers. And they're not mine, they're Hal Elrod's, but we're going to make them Danish, I promise. So, moment of silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. Just some of the ways that we can be successful. You know, in what we teach and what the Dane Boyle success philosophy is I know that not every day is going to be a perfect day. I haven't figured out, I don't think anybody has utopia yet. But if you lapse in whatever your goals are, if you relapse, what we can't and what Coach Boyle, me, Dane, won't allow you to do is collapse. We tend to be great starters and not such good finishers. So, think about that. I've heard that many times, right? So let's move ahead to January 1st, depending on when you're watching the video. Many people will have some sort of New Year's resolution, and most of them have to do with fitness. What they consider fitness, which is joining a gym and sweat on the floor. For those that are joining us, go back and watch the video where we talk about E squared, IOP squared, and that ultimately is the base of Dane Boyle's success. And those are the 7 elements of health and wellness. So, yes, I want you to move more today than you did yesterday and less today than tomorrow. Yes, I want you to do all those things, but you may lapse, you may relapse. We can't collapse. Typically, and the joke was in the gym setting, was that all the group fitness classes, all the treadmills, all the ellipticals will be full until the first box of chocolates. Hey, Brandy, the first box of chocolates, that's Valentine's Day. Don't let that happen. That's why I firmly believe that dumbbells and treadmills are not the answer to the world's health and wellness problems. What we're doing at Dane Boyle Success is blending. I've been blessed to go to school. It doesn't mean I'm smart. What it means is I met the qualifications to earn that piece, that certificate. The scarecrow already had a brain. You already have it. My job is not to count to 8 for you. It's to remind you that you knew how to count. So we're going to take that 20 plus years of exercise science background, life coaching, blend it together, and build a healthy community. That's what it's about, one day at a time. So I want to continue to come to you and chat with Coach Boyle. Hey, Brandy, are you out in on the West, Pacific Northwest, I think? Anyway, join us. What's the best that can happen? It's a different approach. It's a long-term approach. I am straight up honest with you. Whatever change or new habit you want to create will not be done in one day. It won't be done in 2 days. It's going to take time. I will invest in you. There you go. Awesome. Drink some coffee for me, girlfriend. I love me some coffee. I will invest in you. I will not let you leave, in the sense that when you get fed up, when you get tired and you just want to slam everything on the ground, we're going to pick up the phone and we're going to talk. We're going to message somehow to tell you what your vision was before. And it's all simple, but it's not easy. I would love to meet you where you are. And Annie just put in a link to join the Dream Academy. There's more about it. I want you to learn the art of dreaming, to dream big, dream often, and dream out loud. 3 things I want to leave you with today, awesome, is that you should dream big, dream often, and dream out loud. You have not lost your shadow. Peter Pan can always keep his shadow, right? Keep that shadow. Dream big, dream often, and dream out loud. Dale Partridge, I read all the time, talks about that dreams are worth chasing, and I believe that wholeheartedly. Your dreams may not be the same as they were when you were a little girl, little boy wearing a cape, when you thought you could fly, when you could run fast, when you had a mask and you were invisible. But if you want to learn to play guitar, if you want to climb a mountain, if you want to make sure that you never spend a day in a nursing home, those are dreams and visions that can come true and we can work on. There are no guarantees, and nobody said it was going to be easy. And I want to remind you that dreams do not have an expiration date. And the bonus is I truly believe movement and emotional health are the keys to longevity. I've read many, many times that what happens in at least American society is that we retire. In that time, our children move away. Our friends and family may pass away. We no longer have a sense of purpose in a community, a need to get up, a need to move. Well, let's build a purpose together. So I'm going to head out. I'm going to let you hopefully go back and rewatch the video. Be sure to subscribe to the videos because they're going to come to you more often. I want to make sure that I educate, motivate, and empower you to lifelong healthy living. Let's dream big, dream out loud, and dream often together. Thank you so much.